Welcome to my 29th video of my 30-day challenge. In today's video, we're going to speak about the erroneous assumption that life occurred with one random event and that life occurred randomly by some improbable event. Hi, my name is Eduardo Hernandez. I am the creator of the newest theory in the emergence of life science. My theory's name is Emergent Chemical Evolution. I'm also the author of the book by the same name, available on all major online retailers. The thought of life just occurring by random events, by just one random event for one, that you just need this one random event of inorganic material reacting and producing RNA molecules is sufficient to initiate life. Life is much more complex than that. The ability of RNA to self-replicate, for one, has not been accomplished in a robust enough manner, I should say, in perfect, pristine laboratory conditions. It's hard enough for them to get one RNA molecule to replicate itself entirely, and then in one experiment they've been unable to get inorganic material to turn into RNA molecules of a sufficient length, because I believe they've only been able to produce RNA monomers from inorganic material, and were not able in the same experiment and in pristine experimental conditions to get these RNA monomers to string together and become RNA molecule. At least that's my understanding of the literature I've read. That life would initiate with just some random string, one or several random strings of RNA in a very hostile environment, makes it more improbable, because you only have a very limited amount of opportunities for that RNA molecule to replicate and initiate life. Especially very limited when you are thinking of dehydration events on a very wet planet, in order to get sufficient amount of RNA monomers, to be available for the replication of RNA to occur, self-replication. You cannot expect RNA to replicate itself in the environment, the messy, chaotic environment that they envision the environment to have been at that time for life to initiate. With my theory, the environment itself creates repeating opportunities for amino acids, which are what do everything in life today, to coalesce, which they rarely bond whenever they're near each other, to react with each other and upon another amino acid, which even in life today is the source, the start of all chemical reactions. So what we always needed to look for is a way the environment could create that system, a repeating cyclic system that would cause amino acids to initiate the reactions necessary to produce RNA. And in an environment that is hospitable, habitable for these molecules to exist in. Again, with the previous fallacy of them trying to determine what the prebiotic environment was, the conjectures that I don't know are based on the science of geology. Makes it improbable for one single event to initiate life. You're going to need an unhospitable environment that will give multiple opportunities for any molecule to continue to exist, to continue to have reactions, be it with itself or with other molecules, which it should. Any theory that initiates life has to accommodate, or it has to account for, the presence of other molecules in the environment at that time. And just having cavities in rock surfaces is insufficient. I spoke about that during the fallacy of the erroneous assumption of the conditions of the earth back then. 1 inch of water passing by any small cavity, you're going to have 97 million molecules at least passing by these reacting chemical reactions occurring. You got to account for that. How do you prevent it? Just the cavity in a rock surface still wouldn't enclose itself. Its contents would be thrown into the ocean. Any matrix, any clay matrix is more probable to be buried and become part of the geology than having it consistently produce chemicals for the availability of life. So without the aid of life, once things are buried, they usually stay buried. At least, at least that's what we see most commonly occur at the bottom of bodies of water. Once something gets buried, they're buried for usually forever, unless some life form digs in there and consumes it. But that wasn't a possibility back then. What is, and what could have aided, which also aids my theory, is the impacts of comets and meteors during the heavy bombardment. That would, of course, throw things up that have been buried. But, according to their theories, the heavy bombardment was a hindrance to life. Would have kept life from coming. Whereas in my theory, because of the experiments done by the PhD blank, Dr. Blank, I'm sorry, these impacts would have polymerized amino acids, which would aid in the production of molecules beneficial to life. Over and over again, because the heavy bombardment at that time, every couple of seconds, there will be an impact. So that life occurred with one random event is highly improbable. They can't even do it in pristine laboratory conditions because they're trying erroneously assume that life had to occur from inorganic origins, with the availability of amino acids being ubiquitous in all environments at that time, being delivered by meteor impacts during the heavy bombardment. My theory of the cyclic patterns created by the chaos engine, of the currents of the ocean passing material within itself through different pH gradients over millions of square miles of a wet planet, of events that occur at the molecular level, creating trillions upon trillions of sites around the millions and millions of square miles available. Multiply all of that times the depth of the ocean with different pH levels. Life would have been inevitable with these conditions coalescing. I do believe that life was here by random events, but not just one. And we're extremely lucky to find ourselves in a planet with the conditions of Earth in the part of the galaxy that is not violent or volatile, where life on Earth would have been wiped out. We continue after billions of years to be protected by the conditions that that Earth finds itself in. That is the improbability, the one event that allowed life to flourish in this planet. And that's why we don't find it that, well, at least not yet. We don't know how popular, how abundant life is in the universe. But I do believe that we're extremely lucky to be here. But if the conditions were not such, then we wouldn't be here at all. So I don't believe we're here by any divine authority, any divine design, or any aliens. Just the conditions coalesced in a manner that gave these molecules, over a very long period of time, multiple opportunities for the proper conditions. Well, the conditions were very stable. They were repeating and cycling through those conditions, which allowed over and over again the opportunity of amino acids to take a conformation, to react with other amino acids to create molecules that would have been beneficial to the creation of RNA and its replication. So, according to my theory, life would have been inevitable due to the conditions coalescing in the ocean, giving life the opportunity over and over again to initiate and create the random RNA strip that became the viroid. I hope you enjoyed this video. Tomorrow will be my last video on my 30-day challenge, so I won't be boring you daily anymore. I'll be producing at least one video a week from here on out, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.